You know, Dr. Pamela Jolly, one of the things I couldn't wait for was for this particular episode. I mean, there's some episodes I just can't wait for, and this is one of them. Do me a favor. The number of folks are going to go to Pamela Jolly, JOLLY.com, and they're going to read your bio, which we'll talk about later. They're going to learn about all the letters you have behind your name, which we'll talk about later. But can you take a moment and kind of give me the Cliff Note version, if you would, of who is Pamela Jolly? What journey has Pamela Jolly been on? And what is Dr. Pamela Jolly up to now?
Wow. So one, I want to say thank you, Jay, for letting me be here, and really proud of what you're doing. The happy entrepreneur is a really important thing. As most entrepreneurs will agree, that the entrepreneurial journey is pretty isolating. And so the ability to be able to recognize that you're not alone is really important. And to have, even if it's a virtual community, really makes a difference. So I'm proud of you for what you're doing, and I'm grateful to be on the show. I'm here to talk about what I only talk about, which is legacy wealth. And there's so many people who talk about wealth, but often I find that we have different definitions. And the problem that I see is that we've got to become more united and build some standards around wealth creation. And the primary purpose of business is to build wealth for its owner. And so it's imperative that we define that for ourselves so that it becomes an attainable goal that we can reach in our lifetime. So I'm looking forward to talking with you about that. Anyone who knows me knows that I love three things more than anything in the world, and that's God, business, and Black people. And those three things are a three-quarter strand in my life. And so as a theologian, as an entrepreneur, and as a Black woman, I'm proud of how those three things intertwine in everything that I do. And so my journey has been one of a faith walk, very structured. I was raised by two parents who, the key things were don't embarrass the family and show thyself approved. And so everything that I do really upholds a standard that my family created. And that's how, in many ways, I continue the legacy. Now, legacy wealth is different than wealth. For too many people, wealth is just money. But wealth is so much more than money. And when you put legacy in front of wealth, it takes it to a whole nother level because it crosses lifetimes. And so we are not in this world alone. We didn't get here by ourselves. And our first introduction to business is for our families. And so if you don't take account of that, you're starting from scratch. And so I want more people to recognize that you must really take possession of your inheritance in order to build wealth your way.
Wow, that was very powerful. Thanks so much for sharing that. Thanks for sharing who you are, a little bit about the backstory. Take a moment, if you would, and you kind of weaved it a little bit in there, but I want to make sure you can kind of frame the conversation. What is Dr. Pamela Jolly's big why? I mean, right now, you could be teaching at a university. I know you enjoy that. You could be spending time with your family. I know you love spending time with your mom and traveling. You could be just relaxing right now somewhere and just kicking your feet up on the beach. But yet, you're out there beating that drum day after day after day about legacy wealth. What's your big why?
I love what I do. And I'm blessed to work in the African American community. And as African Americans, we are the only people who were first capital before we made capital. And so we are wealth. And so the ability for me to be able to showcase my research, my work, and the outcomes to help us remember who we are and continue that legacy, I can't imagine doing anything else. And so I'm going to do it for the rest of my life. And the reason why I do it is because everything that I do has to have meaning. I'm not someone that can just do something for the sake of doing something. The ends don't justify the means. As a faith walker, I'm on purpose, and I pray for this. And so my clients are a blessing to me. The communities that I work in bless tremendously when we achieve our outcomes. And so I love what I do, and I couldn't imagine doing anything else.
Well, you know what? I love what you do. I'm glad you're doing what you're doing. They're looking over me and saying, Shay, we got to get going. Yes, we're going to be talking about how to build legacy wealth. Yes, we'll be talking about the book, The Narrow Road. I got a sneak preview into The Narrow Road 2.0, and we've got a big surprise. You're in for it. This is one of those conversations. I see you. They tell me we got to get going. So we're going to go ahead and get kicked off. This is the time. You're at the right place in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Please go ahead and give a big standing ovation for the one and the only Shay Brown.
Every morning in Africa, a gazelle wakes up and it knows it must outrun the fastest lion or it will be killed and eaten. Also, every morning in Africa, a lion wakes up and knows it must outrun the slowest gazelle or it will starve to death. You've heard it before. It doesn't matter whether you're a lion or a gazelle. When the sun comes up, you better be what? You better be running. That's right. That's right. You better be running. Life is about meaning, and meaning is about service. Isn't that the reason why we're all here? Isn't that what we're all searching for? 2013, the Peak Performance Institute was created. 5,000 clients who we've helped turn their idea into a reality, their reality into a business, their business into a movement, impacting 5.7 million lives around the world. Imagine that! My name is Shay Brown, the Happy Entrepreneur, and welcome to the Happy Entrepreneur Network, the world's largest organization for the well-being of an entrepreneur. And as we always say, our mission at the Happy Entrepreneur Network, our mission is to inspire, empower, and provide resources for the entrepreneur to live a balanced life and execute their vision for the people they were called to serve. And our mantra, I love our belief. Everyone should have a belief statement. Our belief is the results that show up in your life are just as important as the results that show up in your bank account. With that being said, let's get started. Well, it's a great day. My name is Shay Brown, the Happy Entrepreneur, and welcome to the Happy Entrepreneur Show, the #1 business development and revenue-focused late-night show in the country where we're on a mission. And our mission is to empower. Our mission is to inspire. And our mission is to provide the resources so that you, the entrepreneur, that's right, you can live a balanced life. But more importantly, you can execute the visions. You got 3 visions. The 3 visions you have. Vision number 1, you have a vision for yourself. The way you want to live, the clothes you want to wear, the food you want to eat. And it takes resources to execute that vision. And then you have a vision for your loved ones. I mean, those are the ones you care the most about. The kids, you want to send them to a school of your choice. The neighborhood that you want to make sure that you live in. Maybe you want to write a check for the health care insurance for a loved one or pay their mortgage off. But you also have a vision, that's your 3rd vision, for the people you were called to serve. And so it takes resources. That means it takes revenue. It takes resources. Let me say it different. It takes money. And that's the purpose of this show, is to make sure that you have all the resources. So this morning, this evening, this afternoon, no matter where you are, anywhere in the world, you're in for a treat, because we're here with Dr. Pamela Jolly, who's a bad mamma jamma. What's up, Dr. Pamela Jolly?
Jay, how are you?
Well, it is a treat and a treasure, as they would say, and I'm so excited. I couldn't wait for this particular episode to learn a little more, not only about you and what you're doing, but more importantly, for you to share your knowledge with everyone that's out there watching right now. So do me a favor if you can. We have a mantra here, and the mantra is, today is my January 1st. Today is my January 1st, and that's that moment, Dr. Jolly, where you hit a pivotal spot, and you have to make a decision. And you make a decision every day, and that decision changes the trajectory of your life. So what does that mean? That means you either go to the gym or you stay home. You either spend money on a new dress or you save the money. You either eat the right foods or you don't. My question to you around that today is my January 1st concept, that mantra, that core value is, what was your January 1st moment that you decided that, you know what, Shay? I'm drawing a line in the sand. I'm planting my flag, and I'm going to teach our communities, I'm going to teach entrepreneurs how they can create legacy wealth. And that will be my calling, and I'm stepping into that mission. What was your January 1st moment? Give us the story.
Yeah, so I think my January 1st moment was, shortly after graduating from business school, I was on the top of the world and really was working for a job that I loved, living in Brooklyn, New York, that I loved. And things were all going well, but I felt like there was more that I was supposed to do. And I started praying for purpose. And things just started to happen quickly. And I went to Egypt. And I went into a belly of a pyramid, maybe 5,000 BC, and said a prayer. And I heard a word, just one word, but that word just changed my life because I knew that I had to figure out how to incorporate that word into what I was supposed to do for a living. And so the pursuit, which I call the Jolly Journey, began that day. And that was Valentine's Day, 15 years ago in Egypt, in the belly of a pyramid. And that was my January 1st moment where it was just clear. And the word was simple. It was unite us. And I have to be honest, over the last 14 years, that definition has evolved. I got it wrong in the beginning, but really to briefly talk about what that means for me today, really unite us to our purpose of why we're here. I was raised to not leave this world the way I found it. My mother would say, be a bright light in a dark world. And the ability to be able to shine light that there is an elevated standard of business that leads to wealth that everyone can pursue. And I truly wanted to have anyone and everyone that wanted to see that view to see it.
Yeah, I mean, that's so important. As we're out there looking, I see we have none other than Cynthia Green. She's in the house. What's up, Cynthia Green? Sean Dora's in the house. Sean, my man out of Florida's in the house. Jason Murray's here. George Allen's in the house. Shannon Griffin's in the house. Morella, all the way from Australia, is in the house. Look, I wish I could go through everybody's name in the time I have, but here's what I'd like for you to do. I'm going to ask Dr. Pamela Jolly to tell us the 3 things she did. She went to the pyramid. I got that. But what are 3 things she did to get started on the journey now that she understands that today is her January 1st? And if she's doing that, do me a favor. Pay this message forward. We're going to talk about building wealth. We're going to talk about her book. We're going to talk about her studies. Hit the share button right now. Hit the share button right there, right there. Hit the share button. And when you hit the share button, write these words: build legacy wealth. Hashtag Dr. Pamela Jolly. Just put build legacy wealth. Hashtag Dr. Pamela Jolly. Hit the share button right now and pay this message forward. All right, Dr. Pamela Jolly, tell us what were 3 things you did to get started, just to get going.
Yeah, sure. I mean, the first thing was to write my vision, like to be really clear about what was the problem that I wanted to solve. Businesses solve problems. And so I had to be really clear about what that problem was. The second thing that I did was I talked to 3 of my classmates, and I wanted to see how did they react to it? Like, did it make sense? The first one said yes. The second one said definitely. And the third one helped me incorporate it. And then the third thing I did was talk to my family, because prior to becoming an entrepreneur, you could pretty much set your watch on my life plan. But once I became an entrepreneur, things drastically changed. And so I had to really communicate with my family that I was taking a faith walk. I was taking a risk, and we all know, especially those who are on this show, that the true definition of being an entrepreneur is to take an inordinate amount of risk for a reward that pretty much only you can see. And, you're willing to step into the unseen and pull it into the light of day. And so that's exactly what I had to do. And it wasn't really readily embraced in the beginning because I was a banker. And I was in a very structured environment, and then all of a sudden entrepreneurship wasn't as popular as it is today when I started 15 years ago, especially someone who, an MBA 15 years ago was not your catapult to entrepreneurship. It was your catapult to corporate America. And I absolutely loved corporate America, but I just knew that there was something greater for me to pursue.
Yeah, that's so important. Thanks for sharing. And I know you mentioned that you talked to your classmates. You got to tell us which one. I know you went to HBCU, Hampton University. I get it. I know you went to Wharton School of Business. They'll see all that over at PamelaJolly.com, Jolly. Yes, I get it. I know you went to Boston University. I know you end up getting a doctorate in theology. I get all that. You got to tell us what classmate you talked to. We got to know. And then, not their names, but who were these folks? And then, more importantly, share, before we get into legacy wealth, what are 3 things that the person watching right now, they hit the share button, they paid it forward. They're making a statement that today is my January 1st. As Ebony Banks is out there right now. Jacqueline Jetter is out there right now. Do me a favor. All of you watching, look right below the video. And if you're listening to the podcast, no matter where you are, on iHeartRadio, it doesn't matter if you're on iTunes, Stitcher, wherever you are right now, if you're watching Roku or Apple TV, you can still do this. Look right below the video and write these words. Today is my January 1st. I get a reboot. I get a do-over. Today is my January 1st. I'm going to make a decision that's not only going to change my life, but impact someone else. So I'm going to ask Dr. Pamela Jolly right now, what are 3 things that she would recommend to you, the entrepreneur, you, the person that says, yeah, okay, Shay, I'm going to build wealth. What are 3 things that you should do right now as you start this journey? And she'll talk about the Jolly journey in a little while, but as you start this journey, Dr. Pamela Jolly, talk to us.
Yeah, so the first thing, one, this is a perfect time for your January 1. This is the end of 2019. And this is a very powerful time in society, particularly in America, which is the world's superpower that really quantum leaped beyond so many things. But from 1619 to 2019 is a 400-year journey that really talks about the business model of America, which has so many different lessons. And the business model of America, really in the core of it, is the legacy of African Americans. And so truly understanding America's first asset really helps us better understand ourselves and better understand business. And so the first thing that I need you to do is define wealth for yourself. Because oftentimes we assume that it's the same for everyone, and it's not. I was blessed to interview over 7,000 individuals, asking them about their relationship with money, faith, finance, entrepreneurship, and wealth creation. And it's different. It's not a one-size-fits-all. So you've got to define it for yourself. And I'll help you with this one statistic from the Carnegie Institute of Technology that says that, 85% of your financial success is based on your personality, your ability to communicate, lead, and negotiate. And only 15% is due to your technical knowledge. So we can teach you the technical knowledge, but if you don't know yourself, your personality, if you are not clear about how you communicate and connect with others, if you're uncertain about how to negotiate and not clear about where you're leading and who you're leading, it's difficult for you to have financial success, which so many people limit wealth and the definition of wealth to. And so there's so much more to wealth. So one, you have to define it for yourself. For some, it is a lot of money. For others, it's friends and family that care about you and share your values. For others, it's a sense of independence where you can do what you want to do when you want to do it. And for others, it really is the ability to make things happen and to influence change. What does it mean for you? Because until you can get to the equity table with a clear definition for wealth, it's very difficult to participate in the group process that wealth really is. The second thing that I want you to do after you're clear about what it is to take inventory of what it is that you bring to the table. Because this is the happy entrepreneur show. And let's be honest, being an entrepreneur is not a happy day every day. I'm a jolly girl, and I'm just by blood. But Lord have mercy, sometimes it's hard.
Oh, it's hard.
But I remember when I first started my business, one of my classmates, Xavier, and it wasn't a good time at that time. And I remember after he listened to me and he said, "But you're having fun, right?" And it was so funny because I was like, yeah, actually I am. Even though it's hard, I'm having fun. And so it's important to find joy in your work, find purpose in your work. Do what you love and the money will follow. My grandfather always said that, but he was right. I'm grateful that I'm a successful entrepreneur. It wasn't always that way. And it taught me the ability to ask for what I needed and to include my friends and family in this journey, both the good side and the bad side. So I encourage you to recognize that wealth is a group process and make sure you've got a group that's willing to journey with you. The third thing I'll make sure that you know is that the primary purpose of business is to build wealth. So if you're not building wealth with your business, you don't own it. Somebody else does. You've got a job, multiple jobs. And so it's imperative that you define success for your business and set a timeline. Because oftentimes we struggle through and suffer through because we have no benchmarks and no milestones. It's really, really important that you own your numbers. And while your numbers are not the only way that defines the success of your business, it's imperative that the fundamentals are a vital part of how you decide how you pursue to go forward. I've advised over 1,000 entrepreneurs. There are some patterns. And so the one pattern that I want you to overcome is the blind faith of business. Don't just close your eyes and believe it's going to be okay. Open your eyes and see how far away you are from positive cash flow. See how far away you are from profitability, from the ability to hire another person to help you. Get specific about what success looks like for you.
Yeah, but what do you say to the person, and thanks for sharing that, being authentic. We'll get a little more into your story, but what do you say to the person like, all right, Dr. Pamela Jolly, you asked me now to go look at the numbers. There's a reason why I avoid opening up the IRS envelope. There's a reason why I avoid looking at the profit loss statement. It can be a little depressing. You just said it's going to be depressing. Now I'm going to be double depressed. What do you say to that person that's out there right now? Or the person's like, I'm working, I'm bringing in a lot of money, but guess what? It's not all profitable. And I know I've been fortunate, we'll talk later, sit down with you and have lunch with you. I've had opportunity to be with you on stages. So I get a little behind the scenes. But for the folks that are watching, what do you say to that person that's like, oh my gosh, I know it's bad. Why do I need to look at it? Come on.
So why do you know it's bad? Like, that's the first thing. You don't know it's bad because you're not looking at it. I mean, whatever you attract. So you got to face your fears. I mean, really. I mean, let's face it. The quicker you face it, the quicker we can get beyond it. I'm a strategist, and a strategist connects the what to the how. And so you know what you want to do, and if you're not where you want to be, you need some help with the how. And so, I mean, the how is a very powerful thing, but literally, if you can't tell me what, I can't help you with how. And so face it, because if not, it's an inevitable outcome. You know, the entrepreneurs just keep their eyes closed. Eventually, it will end. And if you want to continue, you've got to open your eyes. We need unblinded faith here. Eyes wide open, understanding that business, finance, and strategy can turn any baby around. And so if your company is breech and it's feet first and you don't know what your bottom line looks like and you're focused on your top line, then we need to turn some things around and get focused on really what the primary purpose of business is.
Yeah, that's very important. And I know they're telling me we need to go to a commercial, which we will in a moment. But you mentioned something earlier that I saw some notes come through. And for all those folks that are watching here with Dr. Pamela Jolly, by the way, the author of The Narrow Road, a guide to legacy wealth. And you mentioned there was like 3 F's, I think you mentioned earlier, as you did these 7,000 plus interviews that things were around. I think you said faith, family, and finance. I think you said. We talk about each of those categories just real quick, and so we can kind of frame what that was. I think you said that.
I didn't say that.
Oh, okay. What did you say when you said you interviewed them around, and there was 3 values that they had, or 3 core values?
So I interviewed them with questions about their relationship with money.
Yes.
Faith, finance, entrepreneurship, and wealth creation.
Oh, okay. I want to write that down. You said faith. So everyone, if you're out there, write this down in your notes real quick. I'm going to ask you just to give a quick definition before we go to a commercial. But number 1 was faith. What was number 2? Finances. What was number 3?
Wealth creation.
Wealth creation. And what was number 4?
Entrepreneurship.
Can you, I know you can't, it's hard to sum it up, but for folks that are watching, can you kind of share what you learned talking to over 9,000 plus individuals, and just to frame the conversation with these individuals, all folks who were struggling, or tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so it was cross socioeconomic levels, it was cross generational, and it was cross industry. There were both entrepreneurs, there were both corporate execs and corporate people, there were pastors, there were young adults. I really wanted to get a sample set. And my pursuit, so my dissertation was an existential exegesis of Joshua 1 through 12. I basically connected the dots. I see things in patterns, and I look at everything through the lens of business. And I'm data driven. And so what that means is I started to see a pattern between 1968 and 2008. In 1968, Martin Luther King self-identified as a Moses and said that he had been to the mountaintop, and he looked over and saw the promised land, and that was equality. And then 40 years later, then presidential candidate Barack Obama, now 2-term president, said that we were in a Joshua era, and this was a Joshua generation. For those of you who are Christian and understand the biblical narrative, it was a 40-year wandering in the wilderness in circular patterns before we got to crossing the Jordan to get to the promised land. So I asked 7,000 African Americans, if this is our social political context, what's the promised land? How do we get there? How do we fund it? How do we get there together? How do we fund it? And what, if anything, do you feel you need to learn to feel more confident of your pursuit? And so the patterns in the data started to show me that there was a narrow road that we could follow, and that there were specific steps that were culturally relevant, but could be a uniting force for us to be able to move forward. So essentially, what I found is it takes 3 generations to build legacy wealth and only 1 generation to lose it. And there are 4 generations living today in our society. And the first introduction to business that anyone has is their family business. And often many people will say, oh, well, I didn't learn what I need to learn about wealth, or I didn't get what most people got. That's not true. Your family business not only teaches you how to build wealth, it also teaches you what not to do. So it's what to do and what not to do. And so make sure you receive your inheritance so that you can live a life that leaves an inheritance. Don't discount the family business that you were born into.
Wow. That is so super powerful. You broke that thing down a different way than I thought. And I know we're going to unpackage the narrow road. For those folks that are out there, by the way, do me a favor. You listen to Dr. Pamela Jolly. And you can find her website. She's going to give you something special in a little while. You can find her website at PamelaJolly.com, Jolly. You'll read all about how wonderful she is. We'll talk about the narrow road in just a moment. What I'd like for you to do is I would like you all to make a declaration. I want you to look right below the video. Look right below the video. And I learned this from Letitia Nicole. I used to always say I am, because I know I am are 3 powerful letters. And she said, Shay, also in the good book, it says, let there be. And so I want you to look right below the video and write, let there be legacy wealth in my family. Just put, let there be legacy wealth in my family. Hashtag begins with me. Just put, let there be legacy wealth in my family. Hashtag begins with me. And so for some of you watching right now, you're writing that, you're looking below the video, and when you see those words and someone type those words, let there be legacy wealth in my family, hashtag begins with me, hit the heart button, Denise, hit the like button, Kathy, Jay Hunter, hit the I believe in you, and you're going to encourage someone else. Now, why are you going to write those words? Because you're making that declaration right now, and it's possible. And we're going to get into, I get the norms, we're going to get into that, but this is one of those conversations that is a game changer. So for every one of you out there, hit the share button. I want you to pay this message forward. When we come back, we're going to be speaking to the one and only Dr. Pamela Jolly, and I'm going to ask her about The Narrow Road. It's a book she's written. There is a 2.0. We're going to talk about the book. She might surprise you with the 2.0, by the way. And then I'm going to ask about this legacy wealth. And I know for you listening right now that this is your moment, Denise. I know, Letitia Campbell, this is your time. Sharon Green, this is your moment. This is where it all begins. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to go over to my good friend all the way on the other side, by the way, Dr. Pamela Jolly. We'll be back on the other side, none other than Rob Howes. And Rob Howes talks about be present where you are, because today is your January 1st. We'll be back in just a moment with Dr. Pamela Jolly. Take it away.
Hey guys,
All right.
me and Daddy are here.
All right, I'm doing a video.
I got a question.
No, it's not a question. This is a video where I'm telling people something. I'm telling them that today is their January 1st. Today is your January 1st Happy Entrepreneurs Tribe, because today is the only day you got, because tomorrow's not promised and yesterday is gone. So the reason why today being your January 1st is significant because it keeps you from procrastination. Procrastination is the destroyer of dreams. Yeah, it's the destroyer. It's the killer of dreams. So, take action. Be present where you're present. That's the real gift. Be present where you are present. That is the real gift. Today is your January 1st. Say today.
Today.
Say today is your January 1st.
Today is January 1st.
Say it loud.
Today is January 1st.
That's it. Don't forget it.
Well, it's a great day. My name is Shay Brown, the Happy Entrepreneur, and welcome back to the Happy Entrepreneur Show, the #1 business development and revenue-focused late-night show in the country, where we're on a mission. That is to empower, to inspire, and more importantly, to provide you with the resources necessary to execute the vision for the people you were called to serve. And yeah, you have a vision for yourself. I get it. Yeah, you have a vision for your loved ones. But as an entrepreneur, you get up every single day to help solve a problem. And it's not about the money. It's about the meaning you're going to have in the world. It's not about the income. It's about the impact. And for some of you, I know you believe that you can make $1 and a difference at the same time. If that's you, say, that's me. I can make $1 and a difference at the same time. I'm looking out there and I see Nicole put down, let there be legacy wealth in my family. Terry Sharp put, let there be legacy wealth in my family. Morella put, let there be legacy wealth in my family. Alinda Reese is watching. Terry said, be present. Sherry Wallace, what's up? Look, we got Dr. Pamela Jolly. I got to go back over to her because she's here. She's giving up her time. She said, Shay, there's no cash app needed tonight. Shay, there's no Zelly payment needed. Shay, there's no credit card. I'm showing up to serve because I believe that everyone can leave a legacy of wealth. And she believes that in her heart. Now, I don't know why she believes that, but she believes that in her heart. Matter of fact, let me ask her, Dr. Pamela Jolly, why do you believe it's possible for anyone that's watching right now to be able to leave a legacy of wealth no matter where they're starting right now? Why is that even possible? And then we'll get into the book, but they got to be thinking, why does this woman believe that so much?
Most definitely. And I said it before, but people who are very familiar with my work know that I say this over and over again. Wealth is so much more than this. In the narrow road, money is only 20% of wealth. And that's your human capital. And your time times an hourly or an annual wage gives you money. So when people come up to me and say, well, sis, I'm broke, I can't build wealth. You're not broke. You just have a broken system. And that first system starts with time. If you become a better steward of your time, your money problems will go away. But there are 4 other capitals that we work with along the narrow road. The second one is intellectual capital. Anyone with a brain has intellectual capital. Whether you learn in a classroom, I learned best in a classroom, or you learn in a community, or you learn via experiences, everyone has a genius code. And when you can apply the knowledge that you have, that intellectual capital can help you grow. The third capital is social capital. And I'm talking more than the like on a Facebook page. I'm talking about the authentic relationships that are willing to be with you in good times and bad times. Because wealth is a group process. The first 2 investors in my business were my grandmothers. And they wrote checks that I didn't even know they could write. And they didn't understand completely when they looked at my business plan for it. But they knew their granddaughter. And they knew the questions to ask. And something happens when your grandma writes a check. You get cash flow positive, profitable a lot faster than you might when somebody else writes a check. But that social capital is powerful. My friends and my family were my first investors, and that mattered to me because I wasn't just holding my business plan to myself. I was sharing it with people who I cared about and cared about me. The next capital is cultural capital. The only 2 eyes that can see things exactly the way you see it are yours. That is your worldview. That is your perspective. Part of that is inherited by how you were raised, how you were trained to look at things. But that's how you invest into this world. The fact that you can see beyond some problems that stop others, that cultural capital is so powerful. And the last capital is spiritual capital. When you get to your end, it doesn't stop. You just really have to believe in something beyond yourself. And so it's important that you own your own theology. I'm a theologian, but religion is what you do about God. Spirituality is what you feel about God. But theology is what you think about both. And so you have to really understand what it is that you believe in. If you truly believe in yourself as the only one that can do what you have been called to do, so be it. But believe fully in yourself. But if you believe in something beyond yourself, make sure that you practice that relationship. And you make sure that that spiritual currency is alive and well in your business and your life. When you are a good steward of these 5 capitals, I promise you, you can finance and fund any and all things that you desire to do. It's taking full possession of what I call the business of you. Wealth is so much more. But the fullness of your life, that fulfilled life, requires you to get to know yourself at a very intimate level. And that intimacy level starts with understanding these 5 capitals along the narrow road.
Wow. 5 capitals along the narrow road. I love how you broke that down. Thanks so much for sharing that. Now, I know Dr. Pamela Jolly, we had the opportunity many years ago, I don't know, 5, 6 years ago, maybe 7 years ago now, to sit down and have a conversation that changed my life. We sat down at a restaurant in Philadelphia, not too far from your office. Can't remember the name of the restaurant, like a little small mom and pop shop. Huh?
Pizzeria Vetri, one of my favorite places.
You remember the place? Oh wow, that's kind of cool. I didn't know that. Okay, good. It's called Pizzeria. Is that what you said?
Pizzeria Vetri. Vetri.
It was a great place. She actually treated us to lunch, by the way, me and Trevor. And it was oh, she invested in us. Okay, she invested in Trevor and I, and while we were there, she started breaking down profiles, and she started talking about this book, and she started. I mean, and it was kind of scary because as she was talking about patterns, and I know there's a saying that people form habits and habits form futures, and as she was talking to me, I was like, those are patterns that I'm currently in. And it was so spot on. I'm like, how in the LL Cool J did you even know this? Like, how? Where did this come from? And she started sharing a book that she has called The Narrow Road. And I'm going to suggest that every single one of you go over to Jolly, Pamela. Go over to Pamela, Pamela, Pamela Jolly, JOLLY.com. And you'll see where you can get the book. But I'm going to ask her to talk about the title of the book, was how she came up with the title of the book. And then who's the book for? And then more importantly, give us a little backstory of the book and how it leads us to creating legacy wealth. And for everyone watching out there, this is very important. I mean, this is probably one of the most important podcasts, broadcasts, social media shows you're going to be watching right now, because Dr. Pamela Jolly is doing something that she typically doesn't do. And she's doing it because she believes in you, the entrepreneur. And of course, I asked her, and she knows where our heart is. And Dr. Pamela Jolly has a heart to give and a heart to serve. She says, Shay, I'm there. And this was just like less than 48 hours ago. And she said, Shay, I'm there. I'm like, I don't know who's on the show that day, but they're gone. Don't even worry about it. You see them another night. She said, but I can make it happen. And she's here. So Dr. Pamela Jolly, tell us about The Narrow Road. For everyone that's out there right now, Letitia, Morella, Cynthia Green said, what's up, by the way. Make sure you hit the share button. Hit the share button and just say, Dr. Pamela Jolly is breaking down The Narrow Road. The narrow, all one word. The Narrow Road is all one word. She's breaking that down right now. Show them the book. Show them the book with pride. Show them the book with pride. There it is. The Narrow Road, a guide to legacy wealth. You're going to hear directly from Dr. Pamela Jolly. Dr. Pamela Jolly, let me turn it over to you. Tell us how you came up with the title of the book, who the book is for, because it's just for entrepreneurs, or can they buy it for a gift for someone else? And then what's the premise of the book?
Yeah, so the book is for anyone and everyone who wants to build a better relationship with money and to find wealth for themselves and pursue it. I wrote the book for, so literally a couple things. The Narrow Road, just to answer the question, comes from the book of Matthew, where it says, wide is the gate that leads to life, but narrow is the road wide is the gate that leads to destruction, but narrow is the road that leads to life. Few find it, and even fewer take it. And I first read that Bible verse when I was in New Orleans, post-Katrina, and it just quickened my spirit. Like, wow, what happens if we narrow our roads? And this year I was a Vanguard Fellow, and Traven Shorter of Be Me really blew my mind, where he talked about the difference between distractions and conflict. And literally what I saw was we looked to the left or the right, and we looked at what we had and didn't have, and we didn't stay focused on the road that we have inherited and the path that was uniquely created for us. And so I wanted us to narrow our focus to what was most important to ourselves so that we could pursue wealth for ourselves. And I'm data driven. I'm a researcher at heart. And so the more I started to talk about this, the more I started to realize that there was a path and there was a pattern. The Narrow Road started, of course, the glimpse happened in Egypt, but I spent 5 years in New Orleans post-Katrina. And New Orleans is the oldest inhabited place in the country. And African Americans were free before they were enslaved there. And one of the most beautiful things about the people of New Orleans is that when you ask them about their history, many of them can trace it back to the 15 and 1600s. And so I started to see patterns, and I started to see the value of your legacy, and really where you could connect the dots, when you could go cross generations, how powerful it was. And so that began the journey of the research to say, what if wealth was a model? Would you pick yours? And so that's what The Narrow Road explores. It explores wealth as a model and helps you determine what actually is your model. What Che just alluded to and what happened with me, him, and Trevor in Pizzeria Vetri is I created a predictive modeling component. My last job in corporate America was a market research strategist where I learned how to create algorithms and look at vast amounts of data. And literally, I applied all the knowledge that I learned in corporate America to the problems that I saw in the communities that I cared about. And so I created a meta pattern, which is a pattern of patterns. So with one question, you get a wealth identity. And there's 24 unique identities. And once I know your identity, I can help you navigate a road to wealth your way. So this book helps you navigate that road, understand the fundamental principles of faith, finance, entrepreneurship, and wealth creation, and really takes you on a journey that really is designed to get you out of what I call the financial wilderness and onto a road to wealth that can pass on for generations.
Wow. I'm loving it, Dr. Pamela Jolly. I know you talked about different patterns and different, once you understand their patterns. Do you have time that when we come back to maybe break down one pattern? You might even break down mine. It's okay. It's okay. I will be transparent on here. And so, look, she got a big smile on her face. Oh my gosh. Because she said, I didn't know she was going to do that.
Your identity.
Yeah. She's going to break down. Don't worry. We're going to take a commercial and we're going to come back. And I'm going to ask Dr. Pamela Jolly to break down my identity. And just to give you a sample, now, for those folks that are out there, this is very serious. And she didn't know she was going to do this. I didn't know I was going to do this, but I opened up my big mouth. I literally just did. She put a big smile on her face like, oh, Shay, that's what you want me to do? Wait a minute. Uh-oh. And so this is going to be scary, by the way. But I can handle it. I'm a big boy. Do me a favor. Today is your January 1st. And I know everybody watching want to leave a legacy for their family. I get it. But I want you to make a promise to yourself. Now, a promise is higher than a goal. A goal is just a goal. But when you make a promise to yourself, you're more likely to do it. And systems exceed goals every single day. So I want you to make a promise that I will have a system to create legacy wealth. Not I'm going to create legacy wealth, but I will have a system. Not I'm going to have a goal, because a goal is never there. You're always trying to get there. But a system is something you do every day. It's a daily routine. So look right below the video. Look right below the video. All of my new viewers that are just here right now, and all the folks who watch every single week, look right below the video. What's up, LA? Look right below the video. What's up, Eric Watson? Look right below the video and write these words right now. Linda Reese, I see you. Write these words. This is very important. I promise to leave a legacy of wealth. I want you to make a promise right now. I want you to make a promise right now. I'm starting off. I'm raising my hand first. Today is my January 1st. We always have January 1st moments, but today is my January 1st, and I promise to leave a legacy of wealth. Now, Dr. Pamela Jolly talked about what it means. She talked about it means different things, different people, and we get that. But I want you to make that promise that I promise to leave a legacy of wealth. When we come back, Dr. Pamela Jolly unexpectedly and somehow is going to break down one of the, well, you got the identities of Shay Brown, and there's some good things and there's some not so good things. But I want you to get a flavor, because some of you out there, you might be wondering, is she someone you're bringing as a speaker? She is. Is she someone that could come in and work with your organization? The answer is yes. Does she have a history of doing that? You can go read about her at PamelaJolly.com. She's been a professor, Wharton School of Business. I mean, she's got all of the credentials. But she's going to do it this evening for all of us. So we'll be back in just a moment. I'm going to go over to my good friend, Sean Harper. He played in the NFL for 7 seasons. He knows something about winning. He knows something about commitment. He knows something about dedication. And he's going to talk about the law of capacity. We'll be back in just a moment.
Hi, my name is Sean Harper, motivational speaker, author, investor. I love investing in people because people have the potential of generating years of dividends. This is my January 1st. And as I'm moving in January 1st, I have to be mindful of the laws, the law of capacity. Now, if you know me, I break all the rules, but I never break laws. If you break laws, laws will break you. Laws are unchangeable. So the law of capacity is that you will grow in proportion to your environment. It reminds me of a story of a guy named Walt Disney. We all know Walt Disney, but Walt Disney started out after a couple failed ventures. He started out with Disneyland, south of Anaheim, California. And he had great success, but he had one challenge. He was landlocked. He was landlocked, and so he couldn't expand. And so he secretly, anonymously, began to buy up land in the Orlando area. And he formed shell companies, and he brought 500 acres here, 100 acres here with this company, and maybe 2,000 acres with this company. And he went on, and a investigative journalist caught on to it, but not until he amassed over 26 to 30,000 acres. And now that man, who is now deceased, still has land that's not been developed. His dream was huge, but his capacity was small. One of the problems or challenges that we face as entrepreneurs, as business owners, business leaders, is that we run out of capacity. When there's stress in the business, when there's stress as an entrepreneur, it's usually one or two problems. A, you don't have the systems, or B, you have a lack of capacity. That is a spiritual law. And I often compare spiritual laws, or look for evidence of spiritual laws in nature. You take a shark, put it in the fish tank, it gets this big. Take that same baby shark, put it in the ocean, it gets this big. Before you dream, or right after you dream, the first thing you do is you begin to build your capacity. Before you build up, you gotta build down. Thank you. Play to win. Bye-bye.
It's a great day. My name is Shay Brown, the Happy Entrepreneur, and welcome to the Happy Entrepreneur Show, the #1 business development and revenue-focused late-night show in the country, where our mission is to inspire, our mission is to empower, and our mission is to provide the resources necessary so you, the entrepreneur, you can really execute the vision you have for the people you were called to serve. And isn't that so important? Creating legacy wealth. We're talking to Dr. Pamela Jolly. You can find her at PamelaJolly.com. She's going to give you a special site in a little while, PamelaJolly.com. And when you go there, one of the things you will see, one of the things you will know when you're there, is that she's someone who has a heart to give. Here's what I'd like for you to do. She's going to break down the narrow road in one of the identities using Shay Brown as a profile. So today is my January 1st. I'll be sweating over here, but don't worry. I'm going to try to hang in there as much as I can. But I want you to do this. Let's give Dr. Pamela Jolly just a digital applause. And a digital applause is we take a moment to say, thank you, Dr. Pamela Jolly. Or Dr. Pamela Jolly, we appreciate you. Or Dr. Pamela Jolly, you are amazing. So do me a favor if you would. Look right below the video. Look right below the video and write these words. Dr. Pamela Jolly, you're awesome. Or thank you, Dr. Pamela Jolly. Or we appreciate you, Dr. Pamela Jolly. Or Dr. Pamela Jolly, you're doing a great job. You know, before they come on, they all do the same thing. Do I look okay? Is this okay? Can you hear me? Just let her know right now that she's doing a great job. So do me a favor. Let's all give her a digital applause by saying, Dr. Pamela Jolly, you're doing a great job. Look right below the video and write those words. Dr. Pamela Jolly, I know you're over there. I know you're getting ready to kind of share identities, and you're going to break down the Shay Brown identity.
Yes, I'm trying to find your identity because,
Good.
Since we met, I've gotten new computers and I'm trying to find your identity.
No. If you can't find mine, it's okay. Just pick any one identity. I just want them to get a sample of what identity is when you do analysis and what's included in it.
I'm going to do one component of it. There's 4 components of your identity, but I'm going to ask you a question, Shay.
Okay.
Shay, there are 4 roles along the narrow road: vision, thought, action, and speech. What's your weakest?
Okay, vision, action. Say it one more time.
Yep. Vision, action, thought, and speech. What's your weakest?
Vision, action, thought, and speech. I would say probably the vision, like seeing things before they happen.
So do your emotions impact your perspective?
Yes.
And when you really care about someone, can you see through their words?
When I really care about something, can I see through their words? When I really care about something. Yes and no. I mean, I could try to see through their words, but if I really care about someone, then I'm trying to put them in that perspective. I might not be hearing the words as clearly.
Right. So your discernment, it's less about what they say and it's more about what you can see.
Yes, and feel.
And do you tend to avoid things that you fear?
Yes and no. Yes, sometimes, yes.
So literally, your weakest along the narrow road is your perceived weakest. But when structured and supported, it's your most innate strength. And so your intuitiveness, your ability to be able to see things that other people cannot see, in the most emotional pieces, especially about our community. And it's not surprising that you are focused on the happy entrepreneur, because you're looking at a feeling in the midst of seeing through what some people might think about entrepreneurship. Happy, how does that come together? But you're able to see where the happy parts are. So it's important that it's structured. It's important that you have people around you to help you focus on some things that you avoid. And it's important that you share what you can see in the midst of our community, in the midst of groups of people that you care about. It's really, really important. Your emotional intelligence really focuses on your ability to see clearly. And when you don't see clearly, your emotional intelligence may lead to more fear-based movements than faith-based movements.
Yeah, well, wow, that's spot on. And why is it important? Thanks for sharing, by the way. Whew, I'm wet over here. Fortunately, I got a black shirt on over here, so y'all can't tell I'm drenched with water over here. Wipe my head off. Okay, but in all seriousness, because it's a very serious conversation, why is it important for someone to understand those traits, to link those to the different types of legacy wealth that can be left behind?
So the reality is, as an entrepreneur, because I'm going to speak to your target market specific, oftentimes entrepreneurs think that it's so important to just play to your strengths. And if you just play to your strengths, you will burn out. It is when you start to acknowledge your weaknesses that you open yourself up to an opportunity to not just hire people, but ask for help. And so it's imperative that we do that, especially in emergent businesses. And emergent businesses are the startup businesses. And there are 4 different levels of business along the narrow road. And the first level is emergent or hustle. A lot of people are proud of the hustle. The reality is that hustle, in the literal sense, means to shove. And all business is a series of increasingly intimate relationships. Now, I'm going to let you know, if you shove Dr. Jolly, there's no relationship. And we won't go any further. I want every entrepreneur to get past the hustle phase. It's a short-term strategy that can be very effective, but it also can lead to burnout. That next level is really focused on being business ready. It's when you have a right relationship with your market and a right relationship with your team to create a product that serves a problem. And so it's imperative. You can't do it all. I mean, you've been blessed with the vision. You might even have the strategy, but you often can't do it all. And you must be able to have a team that can support you. And so that requires you to admit where you're strong, but also where you're weak. And I've seen people talk themselves out of investment and help because they fake it, that they can handle it all when they can't. And so understanding what your weakest quadrant is along the narrow road helps you expedite your process beyond what I call the hustle. And I pray that every entrepreneur that is a happy entrepreneur gets beyond the hustle in 2020, because now is the time.
Yeah, said so very well. For those folks that are watching Dr. Pamela Jolly, and they're wondering how should they connect with you? I've been given PamelaJolly.com as one of the sites. And I know earlier you and I were talking, and you said, Shay, it's not just about showing up and pushing out information. It's about making sure they can have something to help them on this jolly journey. Don't worry, I'm going to ask you what the jolly journey is about, by the way. But on this jolly journey. And so perhaps there's a special site. There's something that you can share with the listeners and the audience. And for everyone that's out there right now, when she gives out this special gift, it's a gift that she has, or a special link to go to, I'm going to ask her, so y'all all are clear, that you have her permission to pay that link forward to your tribe, to your community. You can share it out. You can post it into your own communities as well. Is that okay, Dr. Jolly? Because sometimes people don't want us to do that. They only want to keep it in our community. But are you okay with them sharing this out with their friends and relatives and others?
Sure, definitely. So the link is peachjolly.com/jolly journey, JOLLYJOURNEY. And what that link is going to
Okay,
do
so
is
just let me
give you,
interrupt. So say it again a little slower. And for those folks that are out there, do me a favor if you're out there, type this right below the video. I think she said P as in Paul, or P as in Pamela, Jolly.
yes, as in 'tis the season,
Yes. As
JOLLY.com / Jolly Journey. One word, no space. So PJolly.com /JOLLYJOURNEY.
P Jolly.
And that helps. Yep.
Com /
Jolly Journey.
I got it. Okay. Okay. No problem. I'm gonna. So what I'm gonna do, Dr. Jolly, just for you. Normally, this takes a lot of work, but for Dr. Pamela Jolly, we do whatever we need to do. So I made sure the website was working because we do these sometimes, Dr. Jolly. These sites don't work. Nothing personal against you, by the way. But her site is up, and so when you go to pjolly.com / Jolly Journey, it takes you to this site. Now I don't know what she wants you to do on the site, but I'm going to ask her. It says, let's leave this world better than we found it. There is more further down the road to wealth. Let's go get it together. All right. And here's what oh, wait a minute. This book looks different than the one you had in your hand. Wait a minute. You didn't tell me about this? How can you leave me out there? What's up? All right.
This book is the first book. And anyone who knows me, I'm a daddy's girl. And this manuscript was in my father's lap when he passed away. And then a year later, I published the book. And this book, I've been blessed to sell thousands of copies of this book. And this gives you the overview of what the Narrow Road is. And so, so many people wrote me letters about how much they enjoyed this book, but they had additional questions. And so based on their questions, I created a second edition. But this edition is really a course for people who want to really internalize what the Narrow Road is and to really build wealth. And so, as I said before, I'm someone who's data-driven. So for the last 2.5 years, I have worked with cohorts of people with the Narrow Road. God started with man, so I started with men too. So I have a Black Male Equity Initiative, and I work with Black men starting in Detroit around equity and wealth creation. And so elements of our findings and what worked are in here. I also was blessed to partner with a community in Omaha. And so we work together as a whole community. And so all of those things are here so that you can apply 12 steps to build a better relationship with money and to find wealth for yourself. This is not just a book. It's also going to be, it also is an online course, and it'll be launched in early 2020. So you sign up to learn more, you pre-register, and it's really if you want to really develop that 85% of wealth that most people miss that I talked about earlier.
Whoa, that's super cool. I didn't even know that, ladies and gentlemen. I know we're coming down the home stretch, but that's pretty cool. Everyone go over to pjolly.com / Jolly, like here's the season, Journey, and then that'll take you right to this page, and then you can hit the pre-order here. Let's just make sure the button's working. Sometimes these things don't work. Oh, good. It works right here, and you can pre-order it right here. So look at this. Now, let's just make sure this works. Now, I'm sure it works, Dr. Jolly. I'm sure it works. I'm going to put my name in. You go ahead and put your name in, too. Now, what's one of the reasons that they should pre-order the book, Dr. Jolly?
Yeah, so it starts a relationship. So I'll send you a series of emails about legacy wealth and what you can do. There's a legacy wealth checklist. And what I found in my research is that seeing is believing. And so once you can see where you are along your journey to wealth, it becomes much more clear and much more capable. And you become really realistic about what to do.
Okay, so I can't click legacy wealth for women, huh? All right, Black male, I can click that one.
Married.
Yeah, I know. I was going to do that, but okay. I'm going to pick... Okay, so I'm going to pick business initiative. Now, can someone pick more than one, or you're going to pick one, I guess? Let me see here. All right.
Primary. You pick the primary one.
The primary,
and
okay. So I hit the primary.
Yes, and then you submit
it works. All right. This is cool, ladies and gentlemen. Look at this. All right. Now, if you're out there right now and you wouldn't pre-order the book, look right below the video and put, I did it. That's just a sign. I did it. I'm on the jolly journey. Look right below the video and just put, I'm on the jolly journey. That's the signal that you want of us. Put hashtag jolly journey. Put hashtag jolly journey. And then I'm going to go back and I'm going to do a double bonus. So for everybody that went and at least filled out the form by going to pjolly.com, if you're listening to the replay, you can do that. If you're listening to the podcast, you can do that. Go to, well, hopefully the site's still up, but go to pjolly.com/jolly journey. Now, after you've done that, and again, it's on the honor system. After you've done that, then I want you to go over and look right below this video and put, I'm on the hashtag jolly journey. I'm on the hashtag jolly journey. Put, I'm on the hashtag jolly journey. And you'll join tens of thousands and soon hundreds of thousands of folks who are on this jolly journey. And we're off to one place. And I'm going to ask you what this whole 400 by 400 means, by the way. I'm going to ask you what this whole Black Man's Initiative is about. Then we got to go down the home stretch. She's in overtime right now, ladies and gentlemen. She's had a long, long day. Thank her so much for just hanging in there. She's had a very long day. She's like in super overtime. But I'm going to ask her to give us a few minutes. And I want her to talk about this Black Male Initiative that she's done and what she's done about that, because this is very near and dear to her heart. And then I'm going to ask her to link back the 400 and 400, because for some of you, we've been hearing 400 years for a long time, right? And then she brought in 40 years, and after a while, it kind of all is in one place. But I'm going to ask her to kind of narrow it. You like that, the NarrowRoad? Narrow it and just say, Shay, this is why 400 by 400 is important, and this is why it's important for the Black Male Initiative. And then I think she has some anthology, something else she's up to. I don't know where she finds the time. I don't know, but she does. So maybe she'll share that. So step one, Dr. Pamela Jolly, kind of share with us this whole Black Male Initiative, and then lead us to the anthology. Because today, for every single one of us, today is your January 1st. This is a January 1st moment. You're going to leave a legacy, and it's not just about legacy in terms of money. It's a lot of other legacies that are left behind, and Dr. Jolly talked about that early on. All right, Dr. Jolly, take it away.
Sure. So of the 7,000 people that I interviewed, 3,900 of them were women. And one of the things and 3,100 were women. What I learned is that women and men have different relationships with money. Men look at everything, huge generalization, but largely through the lens of affordability, while women look at things through the lens of desirability first and affordability second. And so I started to see disconnects. And so I recognized that individually, men and women needed to build a better development relationship with money so that then they could build a better relationship with each other. And so starting with men and partnering with the Campaign for Black Male Achievement led by Sean Dove, I created the Black Male Equity Initiative. And we started in Detroit and worked with a cohort of men over the course of an entire year. And we looked at equity through 4 different lenses. And the lenses were all based on 2 Chronicles 14:7, which says, let us rebuild the city, the towers, the bars, the walls, and the gates. So the towers were based on Thurgood Marshall, Supreme Court Justice, who had a long-term perspective of what freedom could look like and equality could look like. The bars, what I found when I interviewed Black men, was that there was a lot of invisible prisons. And so we talk about high incarceration rates, but there was a lot of depression and mental health issues. And so we started talking about the invisible prisons that Black men face so that they could develop a sense of confidence about themselves, looking at the lens of the legacy of President Barack Obama. The next piece was the walls. And the walls were the business of themselves. So how, brick by brick, how do we build the business of you so that you are a wealth builder? The reality is in America, median income for African Americans is $36,005, but median income for Black men was $31,005. So how do we talk about wealth when income potentially is a problem? And so we wanted to really build up the business model. So men wrote a business plan for themselves, and then they were talked to and worked with a financial advisor. And the last piece was Kelly Miller, and it was the gates. And that was about your social equity. And so how do we open up the gates of access? What I found is you could have 2 brothers in one household, and one goes to prison and the other one goes to Princeton. Does their relationship in terms of wealth end there? Or do we connect the dots? Do we find a way to build the bridge? So exploring all of those pieces and having the men write about those pieces created the anthology about what is wealth from a Black male perspective. And so that further augmented the curriculum. And so that's the Black Male Equity Initiative. And the anthology was published and launched in August.
Wow. Wow. And what are you most proud of with the Black Male Wealth Initiative? What are you most proud of? I mean, there's so many stories, I'm sure, that's in there. And if folks are interested in getting the book, where can they go? But first, what are you most proud of? I mean, this is something that I can hear the passion in your voice. For someone that's been up almost 24 hours, I can feel it. And so where's that passion come from?
I love Black men. I love my daddy. I love my brother. I love my brothers. And I've been blessed to work with fraternities and 100 Black men and just many different Black men's groups. The average savings of a Black man is $400 a year. These men in this cohort save well over that. Many of them are so proud that they have over $1 million in life insurance for their children, and they've set a solid foundation for wealth creation that they believe in. And then the beautiful thing is their commitment to their community. So they didn't just do it for themselves, they're doing it for their community. They're doing it for Detroit. And so literally, in working with the Campaign for Black Male Achievement, which is a national movement, we've been able to talk with Black men about their relationship with money, how they define wealth, and what do they need to build it. I mean, imagine an army of Black men across the country saving and investing and pooling capital together and investing in opportunity zones. There's so many things that can be done. And so I believe that our covering is our men. And imagine when seed of mighty Black men can become seed capital in our communities. And so it was just beautiful to be able to spend an entire year with the men of this cohort, their diligence, their commitment, and their willingness to be able to explore their vulnerabilities about their relationship with money to be able to define wealth for themselves.
Wow. And someone asked, what's the name of the book again, and where can they get it? I see the question, Juanita. I see that. Terry says, #Jolly Journey. What's the name of the book again? I'm going to put it full screen so they can see it.
The book is the Black Male Equity Initiative Anthology.
The Black Male Equity Initiative Anthology, Detroit, Reclaiming the Dream. Okay.
Yes.
And where would you recommend they go purchase the book if they want to support the book, they want to get the book for a family, they want to read it? Where would you suggest they get it, Dr. Jolly?
Amazon. Go to Amazon.
Yeah. What's the answer? If it's not Google, it's Amazon. Don't no surprise there. Just go to Amazon, type it in, and you can get the book. Now I'm going to recommend you go get the book right now. Like right now. Like you can go to Amazon while you listen to us, but get the book and show them the book one more time. Then someone write the name of the book down so y'all don't email me and text me. It's called, I'm going to put it full screen so you don't have to work as hard. There it is. It's called the Black Male Equality Initiative Anthology. Detroit, Reclaiming the Dream. Probably the first of its kind that I know that exists on the planet, because that's just what Dr. Pamela Jolly does. She's a bad mamma jamma. She's just someone that goes out there and makes it happen. You know, she's given of her time. She's given of her resources. Everyone make sure you go say thank you very much. I know Cynthia Green says she's on the Jolly Journey, by the way. She's on the Jolly Journey. They're out there right now following you. When we come back, I'm going to go rapid fire, and then we're going to bring it down the home stretch, because one of the things that I admire about what Dr. Pamela Jolly doing is she's not just making a difference for herself. She's just not lining her pockets up, but she's making a difference for other folks that are out there today. And Dr. Jolly, I think you did mention what you're most proud of, and that is all the brothers coming together to save. And you said the average savings is $400. Is that what I heard?
Yeah, it is. And you know, what I noticed is that, you know, wealth is a group process. There was a group, when you have a group process and narrow road, you know, you motivate each other. I mean, there's a beautiful picture here, and we were so blessed to be supported by the Skillman Foundation in Detroit, and they have this amazing boardroom that they allowed us to be in, and it's in the back of the book. Yeah. But the Black men sat at this equity table and talked about, and we had experts from various different areas come and speak with them and share with them. And so I did this with men, women, and whole communities and pastors. I've done it with every single one of my target markets: men, women, business owners, pastors, and young professionals. And they all follow the 4 steps of the narrow road: create, build, grow, and expand. But it really shows that the group process, when you can have a group committed to wealth that can encourage you, you can overcome the roadblocks that I found along the road to wealth.
Yeah. Today is my January 1st. You're going to leave a legacy of wealth. Juanita Kennedy said, thank you very much. I think she's all the way out there in South Africa. We got folks that watch all over the world, by the way. When we come back, we're going to go rapid fire. Then I'm going to ask Dr. Pamela Jolly to give her final thoughts. We're going to go over to Delano. And Delano A. Johnson, someone that Dr. Pamela Jolly knows very well, did a talk called Refuse to Live Talented and Broke. We'll be back in just a moment. Take it away, Delano.
I live in a city where there are more creative people per square mile than any other place on the planet. Question is, how many of them are successful? How many are just like I was, talented and broke? Being broke is more than just not having money. It's failure to turn opportunities into profitable businesses and relationships that last. My mother always said, people perish for lack of knowledge. A compass takes you in the direction of your destiny, but knowledge of obstacles and distractions will ensure you arrive safely. My mentor once said to me, if I had half your talent, I'd have 4 times my wealth. Since then, I made a promise to God. If he would help me unlock my earning potential, I would pay it forward and help others do the same. That's why I wrote this book, because God made us too talented to live our lives broke. And that includes you.
Well, it's a great day. My name is Shay Brown, the Happy Entrepreneur, and welcome back to the Happy Entrepreneur Show, the #1 business development and revenue-focused late-night show in the country. And we do mean late-night show in the country, by the way. And we're on a mission that is to empower, to inspire, and to provide the resources necessary for you, the entrepreneur, to live and execute the vision you have for the people you were called to serve. Dr. Pamela Jolly, you've given way more time than I anticipated. Thank you for breaking it out. I mean, you're someone that could go on and on and on. For those folks that are out there that want to connect with your office and are interested in considering and bringing you into their organization, bringing it to their fraternity, to their sorority, to their church, to their corporation, and they just want to reach out to you. I know you have your website, PamelaJolly.com, and there's a contact button on there. Is that the best place that someone should go if they're interested in reaching out to your office?
Yes, it's a way for you to be able to schedule some time. My team will follow right back up with you.
Okay, so there it is. There it is right there. For those folks that are watching, they've been sending me text messages, so you don't have to keep texting me. You can if you want. But right here, if you go to PamelaJolly.com, you'll see right at the top, there's a contact button. And according to what Dr. Pamela Jolly just told us, as long as you fill that form out and follow those instructions, someone from our office will follow up with you and get back to you if you have questions and want to know what it takes to bring her in. And you just have more questions relative to bringing her in to hire. You don't call it chit chat now. She's not a chit chat. She says time is a resource. We've been taught you can always make more money, but you can't make more time. No matter how much money you have, you just can't buy more time. So you will not get her time. I promise you that. I promise you that. But she gave you her time this evening. Just a couple quick questions as we come down the home stretch. Number one, what does Dr. Pamela Jolly do for fun? Like when you're not out saving our community, when you're not out building legacy wealth, when you're not out writing these books and doing these exhaustive research, what do you do for fun?
So 2 things. There's only one savior. So I don't save our community. I guide. I'm a guide. Right? So I love my mama. So my mother and I travel a lot, and I really enjoy doing that. And then I have a cousin who I call my sister, and I love spending time with her and her family. I love to binge watch television, and I love to read. And so those are the things that I love to do. But I truly don't go to work every day. I love what I do. And so my clients are like family members. And so I live I'm a fourth generation from Philadelphia, and I live in Philadelphia, but I don't work in Philadelphia. So I'm in various different states, and everywhere I go is another place of home, because I really do see my clients as family members.
Yeah, you really truly do. And what's one, you read so many books. I mean, my gosh, it's kind of like a loaded question for you. But if you had to pick one book that you recently read and one lesson you learned from that book that you want to share with the audience, what would that book be, and what's the lesson?
All right, so there's two things. This book I'm really enjoying. I just finished a rather long fast.
Now, can you raise the book up a little bit because we can't see it?
So it's called The President Devotional.
Oh, The President's Devotional. Wow.
Yeah, it's a really powerful book by Joshua DeBach. And one of the things that I love about the book is he would send emails to President Obama when he was president, and then he wrote a book about it. And it's so well done, and it just connects the dots. So there's a devotional piece for every day. And so I recently just did a fast, and this book really just spoke to me. So I really, really enjoy that. My favorite book on the planet outside of the Bible is this book, Dangerous Dreamers.
Dangerous Dreamers?
Yes, Dangerous Dreamers.
Okay.
And it really gives you the backbone of how the financial industry became what it is today. And so my grandmother has a saying that anything has been done can be undone if you understand it. And so understanding how we got to where we are is really, really critical. But for entrepreneurs in particular, being dangerous with your dream is a really powerful thing, because entrepreneurs are people who are willing to push past limits that most people stop. And so the ability to be able to see that you are a part of a tribe that has been here ever since we started, for me, it really helped me say, this is possible. If they could do that, I know I can do this. And so I really love this book.
Yeah. And you, real rapid fire, you have a podcast that's out there. When they go to PamelaJolly.com, they'll see all the details there. But I know as I was going through it earlier, we were doing the research, you make this distinction between there's a narrative and there's a story, right? There's a narrative and there's a story. And I know you didn't think I was going to let you off. I mean, you got to go. We got to go in a minute. I get that. But I couldn't possibly let you leave and not say, we got to hear from Dr. Pamela Jolly. What's the difference between a narrative and a story?
Yes. So a story is like a circle. It has a beginning, a middle, and an end. And if you stay there long enough, you'll hear it over and over and over again. So think about a circle. It just doesn't stop. But a narrative is different than a story, because a narrative did not begin with you and will not end with you. You pick up the narrative, similar to a torch, and you take it as far as you can go. And just when you think it's over, you pass it on to the next generation. And so you have to ensure that the legacy narrative continues through you. If you start from scratch, if you just say it's just about you, it's just about your story. And we are more alike than different. Our difference is that narrative. I'm part of the Jolly narrative that connected to the Horn narrative, that connected to the Watkins narrative and the Morgan narrative. And because of that, yes, I was born, I went to school, I launched a business, but that part of my story, which is the narrative, makes me unique. And everyone has one, as long as you take the time to connect the dots across generations. That is where your legacy wealth journey begins. And that's my prayer, that everyone realizes and learns to value it. Because I praise God, all the different connections that had to happen for me to even be here, and to think that what I'm pursuing is possible. That didn't happen by chance, and it didn't happen just because of me. It happened because generations before me prayed for change, and that change happens with me. And similarly, that change is happening with you. And you decided to take it to another level by incorporating a business that would solve the problem, not just for yourself and your family business, but for the community, however you define it. My prayer is that while you do that, you build wealth for yourself and build a model for wealth that others who are coming behind you will want to follow and pursue.
Wow, so well said. Let me first say, Dr. Pamela Jolly, thank you for being here in double overtime. In basketball, that means you went into overtime, then there was another overtime, and you did just a little bit longer. And I wanted you to share that narrative, difference between a narrative and a story, because to me, that helped bring it down the home stretch. It hit home for me. So I want to tell you from the bottom of my heart, I appreciate you being here on the Happy Entrepreneur Show. You're like that person sitting on the board, if you would, with a picture by it. And although I knew who you were, it's like, man, one day, that's one of the folks that I just want to have this private, behind the scenes, very personal type of conversation, not a presentation. And yeah, we can let tens of thousands of folks eavesdropping on the conversation, so you could get your message out to more folks. And I'm gonna tell you, ladies and gentlemen, she's not a person that just goes out and just does this and does it for free and just runs around. That's not what she does. She's very, very protective of her time. So I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. Let you know we appreciate you on behalf of the Happy Entrepreneur Tribe. For everyone that's watching right now, do me a favor. Look right below the video. Just put "Thank you, Dr. Jolly." I'll put "We appreciate you, Dr. Jolly." I put "Good job, Dr. Jolly." Just write those words right now as we close out. Yes, I'm going to ask Dr. Jolly to give her final thoughts, her final comments to all the entrepreneurs out there. But you made a promise to yourself that today is your January 1st. And yes, you're going to leave a legacy of wealth. You made a promise that you're going to leave a legacy of wealth. So you are you're part of a narrative, not part of a story. Very, very key point. And as Dr. Pamela Jolly closes out, I want to encourage you all to go to pjolly.com/Jolly Journey, pjolly.com/Jolly Journey. Go ahead and pre-register for the second edition. Woo! I feel like the inside scoop, by the way. I feel like I got the inside scoop over here. Yeah, baby, yeah. Wait till I told Trevor, I didn't know what was going to happen, but I said, Trevor, don't worry. We got the inside scoop. He says, oh, my. Nope, you can't be on this one, buddy. He's watching right now. He's shaking in his boots like, golly, gee whiz. It's all right, bro. We're all in the same family. It's one big narrative. But anyway, Dr. Jolly, I know. Take a moment and go ahead and give your final thoughts. Again, we appreciate you. We love you. You're amazing. Thank you so much for being part of the Happy Entrepreneurs Tribe. And keep doing what you're doing. We're now part of the narrative along here with you. Over to you.
Well, the first thing I want to say is to your audience, I met Trevor and Che years ago. Actually, I met you guys the year my daddy died.
Yeah.
And they were so sincere. And I knew that they were on the road to they were doing great things then, but I knew they were on the road to doing even greater things. So I'm really proud of what you're doing, Che, and I'm proud of how you're doing it. You have a tremendous heart and a tremendous spirit, and I'm honored that you asked me to be on this show. My last parting words to every entrepreneur that has viewed this show is first, thank you. I do invite you to join the journey along the narrow road because I'm confident of its ability to guide you to wealth, however you define it. But we're ending a decade, and we're going into a new decade. And there's another book that I love called Wealth in a Decade. And 10 years is a long time. I want you to be really intentional and elevate your standard of business to wealth because you can do it. And more of our businesses need to do so. So I believe in you. I want you to believe in yourself. And I want you to fuel your fire with a review of what has happened the last 10 years. What must continue and what must stop. And then I want you to share both of those with an accountability partner. Because you need somebody to join this journey with you. Because wealth is a group process. So I will pray for all of us entrepreneurs that we continue to build wealth our way in 20 and beyond. And I look forward to seeing you along the narrow road. And if there's anything that I can do to support you, count me in.
Count me in. With that being said, I want you all to know, every one of you watching right now, you're amazing. You're incredible. You can take this video, if you're watching right now, take this video and go ahead and pay this video forward. Hit the share button right now. If you're watching on one of the Roku stations or Apple TV or Amazon Fire or the podcast, take the link. Pay it forward. Tell a friend. Dr. Pamela Jolly's out there making some incredible things. And go over to PamelaJolly.com and join the Jolly Journey. I like that. Only you come up with that. Join the Jolly Journey. With that being said, Once again, you've been listening to Dr. Pamela Jolly. My name, by the way, for those folks who are listening for the first time, my name is Shay Brown, the Happy Entrepreneur. Make it a great day, everyone. And I promise you, from the bottom of my heart, we'll make some good things happen. We connect again next time, because for you, the best is still yet to come. The best is yet to come. I tell you with 100% certainty, the best is yet to come. We'll see you soon. Dr. Jolly, you're amazing. God bless you. Peace. We'll be back. Take it away, guys.
Please go ahead and give a big standing ovation for the one and the only Shay Brown.
And I'm here right now in this moment with none other than the one and only Dr. Willie Jolly. What's up, my friend?
It's a privilege and a pleasure and a treat and a treasure to be in your presence.
All right, Delator, we're going to get started. You ready, Delator?
I'm ready, friend.
You ready, Dr. Connett?
Ready.
You got none other than Andy Henriquez, and we have someone like a Dr. Sonia, who's a bad sister. All right, now, go ahead with your bad self. None other than the Kim Warren Martin. That's the promise I made to my mom. I only did this message for one person, and that's my mom. This is for you, Mom. Love you. My name is Shay Brown, the Happy Entrepreneur. Make it a great day, everyone. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, Shay Brown.
Mic check, mic check.
All I do is win, no matter what. Got money on my mind, I can never get enough. And every time I step up in the building, everybody hands go up.
Yes. Yeah.
And they stay there, and they stay there, and they stay there. Cause all I do is win.
Thank you.